I'm Kevin Kawari, and welcome to another edition of Family Safety 123. Well, today we're talking about preventing scald burns to your child. Improperly set hot water heaters are a really common cause of these kinds of burns. It's important to know what temperature your hot water heater is set at, because if it's too hot, you could be putting your family at risk for burn injuries. We have with us today Dr. James Beckerman. Doctor, thanks so much for being here. Of course, we want our water to be warm enough for our dishwasher and to have a nice warm shower, but we don't want it to be hot enough that it's coming out of the faucet and hurting our kids. So how do we know where to set the hot water heater?
Right now, the recommendation from the American Academy of Pediatrics is to keep the temperature at the faucet at 120 degrees. That's not so hot that it will cause burns, but it's warm enough to clean and disinfect.
Well, doctor, a lot of people like to take a nice, long, hot shower. So is setting your hot water heater at a higher temperature that big of a risk?
It is, and that's because temperatures even at 140 degrees can cause a burn in just a few seconds.
Really?
And these are real burns that require medical therapy or even surgery and can cause scars. And keep in mind that your children's skin is thinner than yours, so even after just a few seconds, they're more likely to burn than you are.
So how do you find out the temperature of the hot water in your house?
The main thing to do is to check the temperature at the tap. So go to your bathtub or your kitchen, run the water on hot for a minute or two, and check the temperature using a cooking thermometer or something like that. If it's greater than 120 degrees, you next have to go to the hot water heater and turn it down.
Okay, so doctor, let's say you do this test, find out that your water temperature coming out of the faucet is too hot. What can you do then at the hot water heater to make sure you get it to the right temperature?
It shouldn't be too difficult for most types of water heaters. If you have a storage tank hot water heater, you go and you find the thermostat typically at the bottom. There's sometimes two, and occasionally the thermostat may say warm, hot, or very hot, and sometimes there's a numerical indicator. So you want to turn that down, wait about 24 hours, and then check the water at the tap. And if it's too hot, you have to go back to the hot water heater, readjust, and then wait another 24 hours and check again.
Now, not everyone has that type of water heater,
right.
So what about the other type that are out there?
Like the tankless or the on-demand hot water heaters, they typically have a digital indicator. Those should be pretty easy to adjust. Just put it to the right temperature, but still check it at the faucet to make sure.
Once again, waiting that 24 hours.
That's right. And also remember that even once you're at 120 degrees, you want to make sure when you run a bath for your child that the water still isn't too hot for them. And I remember checking my child's bottle on the inside of my wrist just to make sure it wasn't too warm, and that's a great strategy to use for baths as well.
Well, great tips there, doctor, but still, what if someone can't figure it out on their own, how to change the temperature on their hot water heater?
Start by asking a friend, and if not, you can ask your property manager or your superintendent or even a plumber or other expert to help you. And when all else fails, check your owner's manual too.
Okay, well, great advice. Doctor, thanks so much for being here.
Sure.
Well, here are 3 things to remember about hot water heaters. Number 1, set your hot water heater to 120 degrees Fahrenheit to avoid scald burns. Number 2, test the temperature of the hot water at the faucet using a cooking thermometer. And number 3, if the temperature is over 120 degrees, turn down the temperature, wait 24 hours, and retest the temperature. Now, this is a one-stop safety measure. Once it's taken care of, it's done, no maintenance required. So take a few minutes to protect your family from scald burns by checking the temperature of the hot water in your home.